All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating idea from a health article. What if that stubborn, kind of embarrassing nail fungus you see, what if the cure isn't some cream or a pill? What if it has everything to do with what's happening inside your gut? It's a whole different way of looking at a really common problem. And to get us started, let's look at this case study from the source, a woman named Jennifer Holmes. You can just feel the hopelessness in her words, can't you? This wasn't just a minor issue for her. It was a 4-year-long battle she was absolutely convinced she was going to lose. So Jennifer's story is really the perfect way to frame just how incredibly difficult this condition can be to get rid of using the treatments you normally expect. 4 years. Just let that sink in for a moment. The article really hammers this point home because it shows this wasn't some quick, fleeting thing. For Jennifer, this was a persistent, deeply rooted problem that was only getting worse. So, what exactly are we talking about here? Well, the official medical term is onychomycosis, and the source describes all the classic signs you've probably heard of. The nails get discolored, thick, brittle, just not healthy. And as Jennifer's case shows, it can start small and just keep going. You can almost feel the slow, creeping dread in this timeline. It didn't just show up and stay in one place. For Jennifer, it began in one nail, then it spread to another, and by year 4, 4 of her toes were affected. You can just imagine the fear that it was only a matter of time before it took over completely. And this is where the frustration really kicks in. The article explains how Jennifer went through this whole cycle. Doctors tried a bunch of different remedies, but any results were temporary, And they came with a price. The source mentions side effects like headaches, diarrhea, even skin rashes. And after all that, the fungus just kept winning. So after years of this failure, Jennifer's story reaches a turning point. And it involves a completely different way of thinking about the problem. A total paradigm shift that is really the core argument of the source we're looking at. This brings us to the million-dollar question the article poses. If you're attacking the fungus directly with everything modern medicine has to offer, why doesn't it work? What are we missing here? And here's the answer, according to the natural health practitioner cited in the source. It's a real bombshell. He says standard treatments fail because they're aimed at the wrong target. They're busy fighting the symptom, that fungus on the nail, but they're completely ignoring what he argues is the real problem. This chart just lays it out so clearly. You've got 2 completely different philosophies. On one side, the conventional way, attack the fungus on the outside with creams and medicines. On the other side, this gut-first approach, which targets an imbalance on the inside. The article's argument is that one is just a temporary patch, while the other could be the permanent solution. Okay, so if the fungus isn't the real problem, what is? Now we're going to unpack the source's theory, and it draws a direct line from the tiny bacteria living in your gut all the way to the health of your toenails. The article brings up another fantastic point to build its case. Think about it. Fungal spores are literally everywhere. So how can one person walk barefoot through a gym locker room and be totally fine, while someone else gets an infection that sticks around for years? Right. The answer, according to this source, is your immune system. If it's strong and healthy, it acts like a bouncer at a club. It sees the fungal invader, says you're not on the list, and kicks it out before it can even get a foothold. The fungus only gets to start the party when your defenses are down. And this, right here, is the heart of the whole argument. If a weak immune system is the culprit, what's weakening it? The article points one finger directly at the gut. It suggests that the health of our gut bacteria is basically the command center for our body's entire defense force. It's actually pretty wild when you see what our gut bacteria are doing for us. The source lists some of their jobs, breaking down our food, making vitamins, even producing stuff like serotonin that affects our mood. But for this argument, the last one is the big one. They train our immune system. A healthy gut, the source claims, creates a smart and powerful immune response. So how does this all connect? How does an internal problem create such a visible external one? Well, the source breaks it down into a really simple 3-step chain reaction. Let's walk through it. Step 1, specific bacteria in the gut, which the source gives its own name, calling them nail fungus bacteria, they become unhealthy. Step 2, because those bacteria are out of whack, the immune system gets weak and doesn't work right. And then step 3, the nail fungus shows up, finds the door wide open with no security, and just moves right in. It's a simple idea, but a powerful one. Okay, so understanding the supposed cause is one thing, but what do you do about it?
This is where the article pivots to a completely natural, diet-based solution. It's all about fixing the problem from the inside out.
The strategy is almost shockingly simple. Just forget the fungus on your nail. Seriously. Instead, the focus is all on getting those gut bacteria healthy again. The theory is if you can nourish your internal ecosystem, you'll reboot your immune system, and that newly empowered immune system will finally do its job and kick the fungus out for good.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, the program mentioned in the source is all about making strategic food choices. It's kind of like a two-pronged attack. First, you stop eating foods that supposedly feed the fungus from the inside. Think certain sugars and processed stuff. Then, and this is the important part, you start eating specific foods that nourish all those good gut bacteria you need to fight back. The whole approach is completely natural. So, after going through all this, what's the big takeaway here? It really boils down to a simple but pretty profound shift in perspective. Stop looking at the problem from the outside in, and instead, start looking at it from the inside out.
And that brings us full circle, right back to Jennifer Holmes. After those 4 long years of struggling with external treatments, the article wraps up her story with this quote. Her clean, beautiful nails are presented as the ultimate proof that for her at least, this internal, gut-first approach was the answer she'd been looking for all along. And that leaves us with one final, really thought-provoking question to chew on. No matter what you think of this specific theory, the core idea is pretty powerful, isn't it? It kind of forces you to ask, how many other problems we see on the surface, with our skin, our hair, our nails, might actually have their roots and their solutions buried deep down inside of us?